Rule 8.
8 is irises.
Try to make one room in your house, in your home, as beautiful as possible. I tried that multiple times, and it was extraordinarily useful to try to make a room beautiful, or more than one room. It's such a good exercise to learn to cultivate a relationship with beauty. It's in a world where so much is ugly, as beauty is as sustaining as bread, perhaps even more so. And so this is a testament, let's say, to Vincent van Gogh's Irises, which at one point was a painting that sold for more than any other painting had ever sold for, $170 million, if I remember correctly. I'm sure that record's been broken since then. But it's of great interest to note that the most expensive artifacts in the world are artistic artifacts, and in principle, those that remind us of beauty. And the chapter, Rule 7, Rule 8, try to make one room in your home as beautiful as possible, is a meditation on the ability of art to remind us of what we've forgotten. So tell me about the choices you made in this image.
So the original irises, the jug is very tiny and very much looks like his face with an ear, the original jug. And I couldn't use that. So I needed a different jug, and I needed it to be rural, nothing more. I needed, and the wood, the place, and I needed more than that. I was looking at those, and I was not sure this is Irises by Van Gogh, until I found a way to make it his with the portrait on the background. That is clear. And also, it's slightly off-centered, and slightly looks like a mistake. But thanks for his face, it's perfectly harmonious within the page. Do you see that? It's slightly off, but it's not.
So that's part of what makes a piece of visual art work, is the relationship between the images and their hypothetical mass. It's something like that. They have to be balanced properly on the page.
Absolutely.
So you talked about the rural nature of the jug and the plain wood table that it's sitting on. That's to not take away from the flowers?
Yeah.
Well, every artist directs the attention of his or her viewer.
Now the attention is on irises.
So you make decisions. Often, this is one of the reasons I believe that hand-drawn animated art is preferable to computer-generated animated art. Often, computer animation allows animators to render their images with incredible complexity and detail. But it's easy for the viewer to get lost as a consequence, whereas a movie like Sleeping Beauty, you know exactly where to look, because everything that isn't relevant is faded out to some degree, and that which is relevant is high resolution. And so the artist is helping the viewer view the image by making decisions about what is highlighted and what isn't. And that's part of how the artist allows the image to tell a story, because the artist can guide the attention of the viewer by making careful choices about what's foreground and what's background.
Yeah, and that reminds me of my thinking that nowadays graphics are too sharp, they too chewed on properly. All you have to do is swallow. It's just there for you completely. Everything is in focus, everything, every single detail. It's very saturated. There is no mystery. And it's not how my eyes see it. Maybe it's the poor vision. Maybe
it's not how anybody's eye sees.
It's not how I see, and I need it to be realistic.
I mean, the way we see is when we look at something straight on, what we're directly looking at is in high resolution. But as we move beyond the center of our vision to the periphery, everything becomes much less high resolution. And that's because, well, we have limited visual computational resources, but we view what's most important in high detail and let everything else go.
And that is obvious, absolutely obvious. But if you look at every single one of them, they're not in focus, they're not perfectly sharp. And that's on purpose.
And what do you think that does? It gives them a dreamlike quality. That's one thing I noticed about it.
Yeah, then it reminds us what we saw like 30, 40 years ago and forgot how beautiful it was.